Hey everyone, Cream right here, and today I have Dylan Evande, the founder of Ultrafooty trainer, on with us. Dylan, how's it going?
Everything's good. Glad to be here.
Nice. So thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So Dylan, can you just introduce yourself? Where are you from? How old you are? A little bit about your background.
Well, as you mentioned, I'm Dylan Evande. I'm a soccer performance trainer based out of Nutley, New Jersey. Where am I from? I am from Montreal, Canada, and my roots are from Cameroon, Central Africa. And I run a training service, and I just provide back to the guys that need help to be advantageous to their careers.
Absolutely. So can you take us back in time how you got involved into the beautiful game?
How did I get involved into the beautiful game? Well, my mother played professional for the Cameroon U20 national team when I was younger, so she was kind of like the first few steps into the soccer spectrum, and just my father as well, just playing the game and having a love for the game when he was younger, kind of was ingrained into me. And my when I was living in Canada, I had the local park right behind my house, so it was kind of hand in hand and convenient for me to always be playing the game. So I kind of started my grassroots stages at a local club called NDG Panthers in Montreal, and then from there just worked my way up the ranks as I kept going along.
Nice. You mentioned you grew up in Canada. How old were you in Canada until you left to the United States?
Um, Actually, the first stopping point wasn't the United States, but I lived in Canada till the age of 9 years old, and then I moved to Ethiopia. Actually, quite a big 360 scope, in terms of a change and growth for my mindset. But we went from Canada to Ethiopia, and from Ethiopia, I then bounced to New York, and from New York to New Jersey, where I currently stay.
Nice, nice. You mentioned Ethiopia. For the viewers that haven't been there, you mentioned it was a whole 360 from Canada to Ethiopia. So what was that whole experience like?
Well, I kind of embarked in it just from a naive perspective. Obviously, being at a very young age, you tend to not quite understand what the process is going to be like. But it was always uh, warned by my parents, like, listen, this is going to be a change, and it's for the betterment of you as an individual. So me being naive and just knowing one thing when I'm a kid, you don't really know how to take on that next step. But going to Ethiopia was a very different experience. Just obviously seeing poverty for the first time and seeing what life is like without the materialistic things. But overall, just the few years that I spent there and just the growth that I had from the perspective of understanding people and learning was very beneficial for the person that I am today.
Absolutely. So, last time we spoke, I didn't see that Ultra Footy jacket right there. So you got some merch going on now. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Now we're on the rise. We're on the rise for sure. But I'm excited to be presenting these to some of my clients as well as the audience that follows me as well. I've partnered up with a manufacturing company called Diaza Sportswear based out of New York, and they've provided me with a bunch of quality equipment that I'm ready to launch soon. I have a photo shoot coming up, and following that, everything will be out into the masses.
That's exciting. I'm happy for you, man. That's good news.
And very, very excited. Thank you very much.
So you mentioned, you grew up in Canada, you played soccer in Canada, and then, share us your experience of your journey with soccer, and then did you go to school?
Yeah. Well, for me, I like to say that I kind of got a full a full lens of what football is like, football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, from different areas of life and how people like to touch the ball in different ways. You can either have the physical side of the game, you can have the very technical aspect of the game, you can have the flair and the creativity of the game. So I kind of got that through different countries that I went to, and just seeing people in their element and seeing how they would find joy of the beautiful game and how they would express it in their own way. So kind of with that, my learning was always skewed year by year. And I would say I never really had the solid foundation of the game at a young age because of the fact that I was always bouncing around left to right. But then that's what gave me more so the joy of the learning process. As you get older, you just turn the wheel backwards and you kind of just look back on, oh, maybe I didn't have the solid foundation to be able to progress from here to here to here, but it's my duties every day to learn and get better and better so that I can provide on to others. And that's the joy in it that doesn't allow me to for that candle to burn out, because I'm constantly in the enjoyment phase of just the details of the game.
Absolutely. Your journey, did it lead you? Did you ever go to college or university?
Yeah. So I went to Moravian College, which is now Moravian University in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, following my years at Paramus Catholic. From there, I transferred out after a solid second year there, and I went to Keene University for my last 2 years. Had a good successful run out there, and then from there, kind of bounced around on trials and preseasons, and ultimately where I'm at right now, just running my training company,
Got it. What did you major in?
graphic design.
Okay, got it. Nice. So yeah, so now leading into ultra footy, something that you're very passionate about, very excited about. You got the ball rolling, a whole bunch of momentum going with you on your side in New Jersey. How'd you, let's start from the beginning. How'd you start the company? What inspired you to start the
Um, for me, the I guess the basis of the entire company was always just giving back what I had learned. So for me, I'm a very big learner, and I always got into the game, I would say, at a fairly late age in terms of understanding the professionalism aspect of things. So therefore, what I would always want to do was to pick out the information that I was gaining and throwing it onto somebody else, because I knew that the when you see the tail end of your career, there's not much to say for it if you're not able to pass that knowledge on to somebody else. So for me, ultra footy was always in my mind from the beginning stages of just going through the journey of soccer. But soon as COVID kind of struck the world and we were all at this standstill, it kind of all started shaping itself. And I started off training a group of individuals for roughly around, I would say, 3 months, just having them buy into the philosophies of my coaching and just upping their levels of intensity, because there wasn't much else to do besides keep your body in shape and just stay well for your loved ones. So that's where the concept kind of grew itself. But past that, I also wanted to be able to pass on that knowledge, whether it's locally, globally, or whatnot, through the social platform. So I was acquiring content for the entire span of that 3 months so that I would be in an advantageous stage once I launched the platform. So it was always a process, and it was always a process to do the ultra footy, but I feel like the timing and the patience that I took in it came back to reward me in the end.
got it? Great points that you mentioned in there that the world was at a standstill and you took advantage of that. Uh, what's the vision for Ultra Footy now, right? Because it's been a year plus for you that you've been running Ultra Footy.
Instead, the vision.
What's the vision now?
Ultimately, the vision is just to keep growing, just keep pushing the platform, because ultimately it's not just the set hours that you're there to do your training, but in its entirety, it's a brand. So for me, it's being able to push on the opportunities that I'm gaining through Ultra Footy and pass them on to my clients. So to get other clients opportunities would mean the world to me. So I guess in that sense, the vision would be to just continue to progress and open up doors that kids may ultimately not be able to open for themselves.
Nice. So you mentioned there's a couple of points that you mentioned that you provide value in professionalism, intensity. What are three other things that you could share with us for players that come across this video that are interested to join your program in New Jersey?
Um, for me, it all comes down to your daily habits. So for me, I would say ultimately look at yourself and look into the things that you do right and the things that you do wrong, and think about the journey in which you're trying to accomplish and how that's gonna fall in line with the things that you want to do. So I want people to be able to understand that if there is a deficiency in their game, it always comes within, right? So ultimately, people like to be egotistical and prideful in this game, but at the end of the day, if you can't seek inner knowledge on why it is that I'm not bouncing from point A to point B, then there's never any growth, right? So no matter how great you end up being, you ultimately don't get anywhere if you're not seeking that inner growth. So pushing to get somebody to raise your standard, find your weaknesses and go work on them, right? Because those are the tedious things that we sometimes want to overlook because it's like, oh, that makes me feel weak. But through weakness, you find strength. So I would say just the discipline aspect of things and just people being very self-critical. That would kind of pair in line with my brand. And if those are the philosophies in your head, then those are definitely things that can fall in line with me.
Got it. What are your short-term goals for your company?
Short-term goals: keep advancing the next generation of ballers, right? So just putting out the best resources for them, pushing them the right way, teaching them the right things of the game, the maintenance of the ball, just creating cohesion within individuals, because I feel as though the hardest aspect of coaching in its own is not only having talented individuals under one roof, but to be able to unify them under one umbrella and be able to have them go out there into the world and perform, right? Because at the end of the day, guys can be as talented as they want, but it's an 11-man game, and it's not an individual game like other sports where you can just take the throne and just do your own thing, unless you're an exceptional talent, which it comes here and there. But just the unity aspect of things, I want guys to be able to stand as a collective and impact the world.
Nice. Let's dive into the numbers a little bit, Dylan. How many players are you training on a monthly basis, and are you able to train more players? If a player comes across this video and says, "Hey, I'm really interested in Dylan's program and I want to join," do you have space, and how many players are you training right now?
Yeah, so right now we're looking at a pool at roughly around 70 guys, and the numbers fluctuate from roughly around 15 to 25 on a daily basis, and periodically based on the seasons, those numbers go up or go down. But I would say, can I handle the duties? Yes, I can. Just because I'm ultra dedicated to what it is that I'm doing, and although there's multiple hands that need to be outstretched in order to fulfill that task, I feel as though I've set the tone for other people to be able to lead in their own presence, right? So therefore, it stands on its own, where a client can come and I don't need to push it upon him to set his own standard, because they've been with me for long enough where the philosophies are ingrained and they can in part set their own tone and allow everybody else to thrive in the environment. So if I set up a grid for rondos on this side and this side and this side, I don't particularly have to be fixated on two boxes in order for them to be able to do the things that they have to do. There's individuals in the environment that have learned my philosophies and know how to push it.
Nice. I like that. So you have 70 players in the pool right now. What's your cap? Is 100 a cap, or 125? What's your cap of players that I'm going to stop taking players? Because Is it just you training these guys, or do you have somebody else that comes to
Well,
help you?
ultimately, I have my business partner Jordan Salen, who plays at Flower City Union in the NISA Pro League. He was with me prior to going into his preseason, which recently just came up. But now I've kind of been taking up the boatload of that. If I was to say capping anything, that would kind of be putting a roof on progression. So I wouldn't say capping is the best word for it. I would say ultimately I have to keep growing the brand as much as it possibly can. So rejecting any sort of clientele wouldn't really be beneficial for where we're trying to go. At the same time, it is understandable that there will be a limit that has to be reached. But at the same time, we know that there's a multitude of different individuals and they all have different circumstances. So I'm very understanding of where people lie in their lives, because everybody has daily lives to live, right? And they have things that go on from 9 a.m. to the time they go to sleep. So I'm very, very present in understanding that. And that's why the pool is there, so that when the numbers fluctuate, if one drops, another person comes in, right? So I wouldn't say that even though the numbers might seem fairly large, they still go up and down as does business as well.
Got
But I'm
it.
always there to be able to switch on a dime, which is, I guess, great coaching, if you can say.
Yeah, you're able to pivot. That's good. I
Yeah.
just pulled up your Instagram here. I wanted to ask you about something that I liked. I thought it was cool. It was called hashtag Ask a Pro on Instagram. I can't find it, but yeah,
It should be on the highlight.
I thought that was cool. What is that? Like hashtag Ask a Pro.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just trying to provide as much knowledge to young ballers out there that may not have the resources to be able to get that information, right? Because a lot of people have aspirations of being professionals, but there's no better information reciprocated than through the professional themselves. So it's just an opportunity to open the forefront for the audience and people that follow my social platform to ask a question to a professional, so that they can get video responses and actually feel as though that information is going to stick within them. So that's the responsibility that I take on, is going out there in the world, gaining information, and then being able to build healthy relationships that are going to be advantageous to my clients as well. So that's just one component of it, as well as scrimmages, as well as other things that we do just to be able to give guys the opportunity to just be heard and be seen.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Hashtag Ask a Pro. I thought that was cool. And as you said, it's very valuable for the player. So, I mean, anything valuable for the player is great, obviously. Now, leading towards here, towards the end. Give us a reason why players should reach out to you. Why you're the person that players should come and train with.
Um, I guess as a sales pitch for me, it's just the realness of it, right? Because a lot of people tend to go around the the I guess the nightmares of the game and just the bad aspects of it. But I'm very real and upfront and telling you what it is that's going on, right? I don't feel as though skewing away from that and selling a false narrative is going to be anywhere advantageous to guys, because the mental aspect of the game isn't pushed out enough. Because if you're not willing to push that into individuals and allow them to reason with it and see whether it's something that's going to be acceptable for them or unacceptable, then they're never ultimately gearing themselves towards that shift that's going to allow them to be a professional, right? Because everybody that's attempted or been in the journey of being a professional has gone through trials and tribulations. So why push off the trials and tribulations and just highlight the success if you know that there's flaws in the equation, right? So why not push out the flaws? And for me, that's just the realness of the game. So through the environment, you get to come in, but you also get held to a standard where, listen, I'm going to put you through hard, intensive work, but it's your reaction to the intensive work that's going to showcase whether you're able to be a professional or not, right? But people ultimately just experience that once they go on trial and somebody just screams at them, and it's the first time that they've ever been put into a place where they had to fight for anything. So it's just preparation meeting opportunities. So if I can prepare you for that, then so be it. And I think if you're ready to be prepared and you're ready to be pushed, then the ultra footy is the environment for you.
Nice. Where can players reach out to you, Dylan?
People can reach out to me through the Instagram at Ultrafooty Trainer, as well as via email, which is attached to the page. And yeah, those are my social platforms right now, and they can reach out, and I will get back to them.
Nice. Can you just spell Ultra Footy Trainer for them so they could?
Ultrafooty Trainer is ULTRAFOOTYTRAINER.
Awesome. Okay, we're just gonna before we close off here, I'm just gonna ask you a couple of fun questions, um, just to get to know you a little bit more and share that with the viewers. It's all footy related. So, who's your and it's speed questions. You got to answer them quick, Dylan.
All right. All right.
Cool. So, who's your favorite team?
Chelsea.
Favorite player?
Ronaldinho.
Favorite cleats?
Adidas X.
Favorite food?
Anything. Pasta.
Favorite artist? Musical?
Blast.
Blast. Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
All right, let's just say, for example, me and you are gonna play FIFA. We got $1,000 on the line. Who's your go-to team?
Chelsea.
Nice.
With my boys.
Chelsea. 2 goals in a game or 1 goal and 1 assist?
1 goal, 1 assist.
Would you rather score a free kick or PK last minute goal?
PK.
If you were a coach and you were able to sub in any player in history, who would that be? Alive or not alive?
Zidane.
Zidane. All right, Dylan, before we go, I just want to thank you for joining us on the One Soccer Nation podcast today.
Thank you so much, Kareem. Appreciate you.